Republicans only got a little red puddle in the midterm elections. But across the Great Lakes, there was a big blue wave, especially in Michigan and Pennsylvania. Democrats held on to governorships with Gretchen Whitmer reelected in Michigan and Josh Shapiro elected in Pennsylvania. Both won by double digits, victories that helped carry a host of other Democrats to victory, including Pennsylvania's Democratic Senator-elect John Fetterman flipping that seat from Republicans. And at the state level, Pennsylvania Democrats won control of the state's House of Representatives for the first time in more than a decade. Meanwhile, in Michigan, voters rejected the big lie by re-electing Democratic Attorney General Dana Nessel and Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson. And Michigan voters also sent a clear message about control over your own body, resoundingly passing an initiative ensuring a state constitutional right to reproductive freedom. Michigan Democrats also secured majorities of the state's House and Senate for the first time in nearly 40 years and made history again by choosing the first woman Senate Majority Leader and first black man as House Speaker. With that newfound control, Michigan Democrats have already signaled what's on their agenda. High on the list, repealing the state's right to work status, as well as increasing teacher pay, penalizing polluters, and passing gun safety laws, police reform, and LGBTQ protections. And joining me now is Michigan native Michael Moore, Oscar-winning filmmaker and host of the Rumble with Michael Moore podcast. I'm going to give you 30 seconds, sir, to say I told you so. We were very skeptical of the red wave stuff because I am very skeptical of the polling aggregators and think they seem a little suspect to me. And so we were listening to people like Tom Bonnier who was saying it's an abortion election. Turned out that was true, and you were right. So go for it. Say I told you so.
Yes,
to all them haters.
No, I can't. I won't do that because I understand why so many people bought into the narrative, the false narrative, that it was going to be a red wave. People are afraid. We've gone through 4 years of Trump. We've gone through all this stuff. I get it. But we have to stop listening to these false narratives and trust ourselves. We are the majority of this country. There are more Democrats registered in this country than Republicans. Sure. We've won 7 of the last 8 presidential elections with the popular vote. More people want us than they want the Republicans. We've just got to start believing in that and start operating from that place. And in Michigan, all those things you just said, all that's true. Where I live up in northern Michigan, we just elected our first Democratic state representative, the State House of Representatives. Nobody could remember when a Democrat had ever been elected in our district before. Yeah. Our congressional delegation from Michigan has now become a majority Democratic delegation, 8 Democrats, 7 Republicans. I mean, Jerry Ford's old district in Grand Rapids, part of his old district, was won by a woman, a Democrat, defeating the Republican, Jerry Ford's district. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I'm just saying that this has not just happened in Michigan, as you said, and not just Pennsylvania. By the way, I loaned John Fetterman my hoodie and my cargo shorts, and he returned the hoodie, but not the cargo shorts. But anyway,
them back.
you started the show with fashion with that beautiful coat that Nancy was wearing. It's such an honor to be on your show tonight, on this historic night. That speech today by Nancy Pelosi was so incredible. And I love that quote that you love, that I love, about you have to be able to take a punch, you have to be able to give a punch, but it's for the children.
For the children. Take no punch for the children. It's not, but can
I just say, I just wanted to finish the last part of it wasn't just Michigan and Pennsylvania in the Great Lakes. Minnesota, finally, the governor and the House and the Senate, Democratic.
Yeah.
Maryland, the House, the Senate, and the governor, Democratic. The trifecta.
And a black governor for the first time.
Yes. And Massachusetts now back to the Democrat is the governor, the Senate, and the House. That means that's our 4 states, just last Tuesday, that won the trifecta on this, join the other 14 states now that are completely Democratic in terms of the top leadership, the House and the Senate. Mm-hmm. That's a long way from 5-10 years ago. And people have got to start feeling the joy of this because, it can only get better. And yes, they looks like they may win the House.
Yeah.
But, it's kind of like, when you get the everybody gets a trophy, you got to give them something in this election.
Well, let me just real quick, because one of the other things that happened, I think there were two trajectories. One, I mean, Michigan, your home state in particular, women now run that state, which is pretty incredible.
That's
the Attorney General, the governor,
That's right.
Right, and also the Secretary of State, all reelected.
And the Lieutenant Governor is African American. There are no white men lead in the top leadership of Michigan. We shall not be replaced. We shall not be replaced.
But I mean, the thing about it is that, to me, it sort of really put a pin in it, right? That women were really not having it in this election. And you saw a woman elected as governor in Massachusetts as well. There was a lot to me that wasn't as good as it could have been. Black women, there was a historic number of black candidates. Most of them lost their statewide races. That was a big challenge and a big problem, and it could have been historic. So there wasn't a perfect election. But in your mind, for women, is this going to give hope that we can push back on these attempts to take away our right to choose?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there were only, I think, three or four states that had, well, there were 5 states, if you count Montana and Kentucky, that had an abortion resolution on the ballot. We should have had more states have that, and we should be thinking about 2024. Everybody get to work now on getting an abortion amendment on your ballot. Get a raise in the minimum wage on the ballot.
Yes.
A marijuana legalization. All these will bring out the Democratic base, and we'll have a strong 2024. But it's got to start now. You know how they say, like at the Thanksgiving Day parade, they start the next day. We're starting the next day on next year's
to
parade.
Build the floats.
We need to start right now in 2024.
Yeah, build the floats now. Don't wait. That is Michael Moore's great political advice.
Don't wait.
Don't wait. Michael Moore, thank you very much, man. Really appreciate you coming back to the show.
Thank you, Joy, for everything you do.
Oh, no, thank you.